Hey, good afternoon. It's Dwayne Richards, your enlightened CPA. Today we're talking about chaos to order. How to get organized. It's the perfect time of year to get organized for tax season. Yeah, we just don't wait. No one wants to wait to no one wants to wait till March. March is not the best time of year to be organizing your receipts because you're already 11 months old on your January stuff. And who's going to remember January, let alone a year ago? So these are steps to start making it easier because you're going to start receiving donation receipts. If you're in a job, you're going to receive like eventually your T4 slips, investment slips, T3s, T5s, T4As, all that stuff. And you're like, what do I do with it? Where do I put it? And how do I remember so I don't forget it? As one example, somewhere over on my other desk there's like this thing in it's called a receipt. And it's say for parking. And it was you went downtown and you paid for parking and it was $20 and you paid on your personal credit card. And then you're doing your taxes and you forget all about it. And you miss taking a $20 tax deduction. Now you're going to pay 30% more tax on that $20. So that paper receipt is actually 30% of $20. Do some basic math. I think that's $6. You just paid $6 of extra tax because you didn't keep track of a receipt. Shame on you. No, don't feel bad. You just didn't know. And the reason this came up was I was at a coffee shop on Monday and there was a gentleman in the back and he was sitting at the table with his computer and he had a big stack of receipts and he's keying them all into Google Sheets. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh, so bad. I'm catching up on 6 months. I said, good for you. You're doing this in November rather than March. So I said, hey, good for you. And then he told me he's putting it into Google Sheets. And we'll talk about that. That will be a bonus. That'll be bonus tip number 6. We'll get into the first 5 though, really quick. Pretty quick, high level stuff here. Because if you're watching the video, you don't want to listen to me ramble on for like a day or an hour. We'll probably get through this in about 15 minutes or sooner. And if you have any questions, then just message me. If you're already a client, hopefully you know some of this already. But if you are not a client, you can always reach out, and I am accepting new clients. And let's just go to it. Okay, I think I'll just do a quick, see if I can do this. Okay, actually, as a quick, this is just another, oh, wait a second. Sorry about that. I'm gonna bring it over on this other screen so that you don't have to look at the side of my, head. All right, I know all these good real life skills. All right, just gonna hit the screen share. Idea. Okay, and this is maybe, if people know me, you're gonna end up realizing that, damn, I came here for 5 ideas and he just gave me a dozen. Always under promise and over deliver. So first off, welcome. We're talking about chaos to order. I know this isn't a PowerPoint, this is OneNote, but hey, does it good enough for me? Okay, so as 5 steps to make tax season more pleasant, less stressful, less overwhelmed, a little bit of order. A lot of my clients are now telling me that's what they're looking for. They're actually looking for some structure, order, a blueprint for making taxes easier. So you can read all 5 and you can just read all 5 and you can jump off pretty quick. But let me start into it. So it's setting up folders. I know this is very basic computer stuff, but on your computer, yes, there's this thing called folders, and you can go into documents and you can create a folder called taxes and then label it 2023. And then as you have documents come in to your email, you could detach them and put them into your 2023 folder on your computer. That way, if you lose your phone or your emails, happens something, you have all your documents. Now, you can do that with email as well. You can, if you're using Outlook, or I use Gmail. So for example, if I go to Google, my Gmail, I created a label called tax receipts. Maybe it's better to do a show and tell. All right, let me go over here. I know you came for a real, and yes, this is my real email, but down here, I've created this label called income tax. And then here, hey, look, here's my receipt from Hand and Stone. Look, here's my HVAC receipt. I had the guy come in and service our furnace. That furnace servicing is tax deductible against my home office expenses. Hey, look, there's my Jiffy Lube oil change for my car. All those receipts are in, they're not in a folder, but if you're using Gmail, it's pretty easy. Like you just go to inbox, really easy. You go up to the top. I can click on this Hand and Stone. I'm not going to do it, but I go over here to labels and I can create a new one. I can manage labels, or I just scroll down and then I can just select here. For example, for our house, I created a label. So for our purchase agreement, I create a label so that later on insurance, I could go up here and I could go to insurance. I could go down here to insurance, and here's my home and auto renewal. I know it's structure. It's not necessarily easy, but a little bit of 5 minutes of steps makes life so much easier. Okay, let me go back to our steps here. Where are they? There they are. Okay, so create a folder. Same on your computer, on your phone. You can do this with photos as well. So you could actually take pictures of receipts or pictures of key documents. And then in your phone, you could create an album called tax receipts. It's just, you got to find it easier. Like people probably have 10,000 photos on your phone. You don't have to scroll through 10,000 photos to find things. And same with notes. Example, I can take my phone. If you don't know this, you can take your phone and you can open up notes. Notes. Go down to the bottom, say new note. Click on the camera. Look. I know you can't really see it very well, but it says scan document. You can click scan document and it will create it as a PDF. And then you can save it. You don't need a fancy scanner. So hopefully you found that really helpful. That's number one, create folders and structure. Do it when they come in, touch it once. All right, that's number one. Number two, create an inventory list. If you don't have one, I can send you one. So just if you're watching this video, message me or comment down below. Say, hey, send me that inventory list. And what it is like, where's your banking? For example, I bank with RBC and I also bank with Tangerine. I make a couple of nickels of interest on Tangerine. And if I make more than $50, Tangerine is going to send me a T3. Now, the good news is that goes into my CRA account, but don't rely on that always working. Have a good idea of what banks you're banking with it. Where's your RSPs? Where are your T3s? Where are your T5s? If all this stuff doesn't sound like you know what I'm talking about, then message me and we can talk. 5007s if you're doing trading in an open account and capital gains and all that good stuff. Have jobs. Like if you have like more than one job, like who's your employer? Are they going to give you a T4 or T4A? Are you invoicing them? So have an inventory of like where all of your stuff is likely coming from. Number two, tax inventory of investment, bank accounts, employment, all that good stuff. Especially as you move to retirement, because you've got multiple sources of retirement income as well, like from our RSPs or RIFs, pension plans. It's good to have it all structured now. It's good. Also, to then be included as part of your will. Number two, that was number two, inventory. Number three, keep track of changes. Hey, if you moved, hey, did you move in 2023? I didn't. I moved in 2022. But if you moved, even though your principal residence is still tax exempt, the Revenue Canada wants to know some numbers. So it's good to take a copy of your purchase and sale agreements and put a copy of that into that tax folder we just created. Yes. So that's when your accountant asks, hey, you sold your principal residence. That's great. What was the date and for how much? Revenue Canada wants to know. If your marital status changed, you got married, got divorced, became common law, good to tell your accountant or to put it into the tax software that changed. Maybe you had a baby. You initially like the child credit comes in, but the child credit kind of drives off the tax return. So it's good to, if you had a baby, to tell your accountant or tell tax software. If you're buying and selling stocks and different things as well, it's good to kind of keep track of what's going on. And that's just, again, just keeping a record of things that changed. If you're in a couple, or maybe for your parents, I have a new client, one of my clients, and her father is likely going to become a client because her mother just passed away this year. So now there's going to be a final tax return done, and now for the father, like there's a marital status, like the status changed to widowed for 2023. So there's a lot of personal information that's kind of personal, but super important for individuals like myself, tax accountants. We need to know because it has an impact on your tax return. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, deductions and credits. Again, I have a Google Doc that I share with clients for like tracking medical expenses, or like if you consistently get prescriptions from Shoppers Drug Mart or pharmacy, you can go in at the end of the year and they'll actually print off a full year summary for you. Same with like Green Pea parking. Just go into your account. Your Presto card, you can just go into the account and print off a statement for the year. Donations. Guess what? Your accountant doesn't get the donations, don't go into your My Account. You need to keep track of your donations and give that information to your accountant. So it's good to keep track of donations, especially as things grow or you become more adulting. For example, I just start making monthly contributions to one of the hospitals. So I have to remember to include that. And especially if you're a couple, again, it's good to communicate because it's best to consolidate the donations on the higher taxpayer's tax return. So if you're making contributions and your husband or wife are making contributions, tell each other, because you can put it on the one amount, because on the first $200, after that, there's a bigger refund. So it's better to consolidate it and put it on a single tax return. All right. Same with medical expenses. Consolidate it and put it on the lower income tax earners tax return. All right. Deductions and credits. And same with like tuition, daycare. If you're having a baby, child, and all of a sudden they're going to go to daycare, tell your accountant, especially if you're low income, because there's an extra kicker for the Ontario tax credit. So if you're one of my clients, she ended up getting like 3/4 of the daycare money back as a tax credit because she is earning less than $50,000. There's an index. So if you're earning less than 70,000, there's an extra kicker for daycare expenses. Okay, so deductions and credits. Other one is like if you have a disability tax credit or something that you're eligible for, make sure you tell your accountant. Disability tax credit. RSP contributions. Yes, tell them about that too. So good to keep track of all that stuff. Okay, number 4, deductions and credits. Number 5, and this is more, number 5 is more for if you're self-employed, have your own small business, income and expense tracking. How are you doing it? If you're a client, you know that I share, and I'll get them set up pretty soon, where I'll share with you the 2023 track income and expense tracker. It's super important to have a system. If I have a separate one, if you have a rental property, the business income, especially if you're HST, if you're registered for HST, it's super important to track it on the expense side too. And just understanding what expenses, home office, car, percentage of business use of those. So it's really important to keep track of those. And yeah, so that's super high level. But number 6 is maybe it's time for some software to be your friend. If you're still using a spreadsheet for expenses, and this is kind of where I go with the guy I met in the coffee shop, said, hey, why are you keying all those receipts into a Google Sheet? There's software that does that for you called like Wave Apps, QuickBooks Online, QBO, FreshBooks, Xero, some free to inexpensive solutions that removes you from being a data entry person. He's like, I'm not really that tech savvy. That's okay. Your friendly accountant will help you get set up and set up correctly, especially if you're registered for HST. The savings of your time and energy and missing out on tax credits. Why would you ever want to do that? So this maybe you do it the old way for 2023, but let's give yourself some self-care. Let's get rid of the overwhelm. I wrote down another word while I was talking to a client today. It's that next step of adulting as being a business owner. Are you a business owner, or are you just kind of like a underpaid employee? If you're a business owner, it's time to put in the tools into your business. Doesn't matter how small your business is. It's time to use some of the tools that are out there. And that number one tool to help you make some calmness out of the chaos, it's time for a bookkeeping solution with it. And usually with my clients, we start with Wave Apps. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's time to reach out, book a call with me. Time to get you in and ready and prepared, and just bring a little bit of simplicity in a way. You might think it's more complicated, but complicated generally just means that you just don't know. Need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help in hand, someone to hold your hand, get it set up correctly. Don't go and do it yourself. Because if you do it yourself and you set it up badly or wrong, and then you bring someone like myself in to fix it up, it's going to cost you more to do the cleanup than just having us come in right from the beginning and get you set up right from the start. And this new year coming, perfect time to get this done in December. It's like a little Christmas present to yourself. Say, hey, for 2024, I'm going to put a system in place in my business, and it's called bookkeeping software. All right, that's it. Pretty quick. I'm not sure how fast we got through that, but I think we've kind of rammed it right through. Got it done pretty quick. Hopefully I found that like at least one or two things that just maybe you're completely overwhelmed, and my apologies. That was not my intention, was not to overwhelm you. My intention was to share just a couple things that you could get started with. So let's just bring back the list here, and let me just give you a couple quick things. Set up a folder, something you could do like right today. You could just go to your computer. Here, I'll do it with you. Watch, we'll go to, Maria will tell me if she sees what I'm doing here. And just go to, hey, there's your trusty old file manager. Go to documents.
Yeah, I'm not seeing what you're doing.
You're not seeing it? All right, let me show you. I might have to reset. I just have to reset. Thank you. It's always good to have someone in the background. And there we go. So here's good old file manager. And I clicked on documents, there we go. And I have one called receipts. But I might have one. No, I don't. Well, I better do this for myself. Great thing about doing this, we can just do this for myself. Go new folder, and I can just go tax files. Bam. And then I'm going to go one more level. Click on that. Go new folder. I know it's so exciting watching someone do this. It's like watching paint dry. Except I didn't put it in the right spot. Did I? Nope. I'm just going to drag them down. Tax files 2023. So now in tax folder, we got 2023. Now I can put documents in here. And then when I go to do my stuff, they're all here. I don't have to go, what email? Where is it? Oh, what's your email address? Where did I put that? No, just file it. File it. Just get in the habit of screen share stopped. The sharing window was closed. Okay, that's fine. My apologies. I just clicked out something, but that's like one simple step that you can do right today. And then let's do one other thing. Say, hey, let's do something like next week. So for example, send me a message. I'll send you the PDF of this inventory list. And then you can just have that, and you can just start looking, like when you go into your bank account the next day, just write down your bank information. And then as your stuff comes in this year, have that inventory list, have it on in your tax. Hey, here's a good tip. Put the inventory folder in your tax folder. So then as documents come in this tax season, you start populating it. And then by May, you're like, wow, I got it all filled out. Wasn't overwhelming at all. And then you could also create again, just simple little Google Doc, and just keep track of different things that change during the year. Donation slips, again, you're going to put those slips in the tax folder. And then the big one is tracking your expenses. And if you think you're kind of on the fence, it's okay to be on the fence. You're like, am I ready to be a kind of a business owner? Am I ready for software? I'm going to do a separate webinar on, hey, time to put on the business hat. I'm going to be the CEO of my business, and I'm going to implement some software to make my life easier. There you go. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty quick. Hope you found this helpful. And if you did, if you're watching the video on YouTube, don't forget to give us the thumbs up. If you want to share it, always good. And I'll probably put a link to the Calendly schedule, that if you want to book a call, just book a call. Let's make your life easier for 2024. And December is a good time to get this done. January, not so bad. If you come to me in March, I'll be like, not right now, friends. I'm busy up to my eyeballs doing taxes. So yeah, thanks again. Till our next series. Bye-bye.